Okay, good afternoon and welcome to today's episode of our podcast. Last week or last weekend, we were discussing Foley 1 from the book A Fool at 40, and we were discussing around get rich schemes, and we also talked around investments, savings, and which one should pick, whether savings or investments, and around that. So today we are still going to be continuing with Foley 1, and we're going to be discussing around financial decisions. Maybe why do people make wrong financial decisions? So the book, I think the writer of the book, A Fool at 40, had some parts in the book where he discussed his decisions and some of the wrong decisions he felt he made while making some financial decisions. So we are just going to be having a round table, and I'll be asking random questions to our guests today, and we are going to be hearing their personal conversations around financial decisions, and from there we can take it up. And again, welcome to today's episode with very brilliant minds here. I have Dr. Kayode Femi, I have Teresa, and I have Mr. Emmanuel Femi. All right, let's start with, who should I start with now? Let's start with Dr. Kayode, right? Since you're, all right. So what was your, should I call it your biggest wrong financial decision?
Now I'm confused because I've made several financial decisions that hasn't turned out right. So I'm struggling hard to find which is the biggest, right, wrong decision I've made. But I think the one I shared in the book, A Fool at 40, in Fully One, following somebody without knowing the full details of something, has cost me a lot, you know. And I said it the other time jokingly, 5 years in debt, I was paying. I was paying. And, what made it really very painful was that, then I had to cut down almost all my costs, almost all, because there's no way you could be living the way you were living like you had money. And one of the toughest thing for me then was that I withdrew my children 3 times, reduced their level the first time so that I can cut the cost of school fees, reduced it the second time. By the third time I was reducing it, I couldn't watch them go to school. I didn't like the uniform. It reminded me of how far I've fallen. And luckily for us, we're back. But trying to make a big bet with almost all your finances for something you least understand. In hindsight, I just kept asking myself, but I knew I didn't understand all these things. Why would I bet my entire finances on it? And it was from that fully I made up my mind to live with a formula. I will not risk a capital beyond the formula assigned for it. So there's a percentage. If I know that these businesses have not done it before and I don't understand it, there's a particular percentage that has to go to that business, not carry all your whole life into something that you haven't done before. So yes, I lost focus. I followed a path I least understood. And that was one of my biggest financial mistakes.
So let's just a follow-up question, right? That particular financial mistake now, should we say it was because you did not understand your finances?
So not necessarily. I think, and that's where the topic for today comes in. What we're discussing, financial discipline, right? So discipline is you will wake up one, and you wake up one. You will sleep four, and you slept four. You will spend 10% on something you don't understand, and you spend 10%. You will not spend 90% on something you don't understand because it promises more money. So I didn't understand, but I think the heart of that fully is that I wasn't financially disciplined. Because we agreed last week in our conversation that spend 70% of your funds on expenses. Lack of financial discipline will make you give an excuse why it should be 90%. And when you start going up, going down, and you're inconsistent, that's where your downfall comes in. So I wasn't that financial discipline then. So that's what I'll say.
Okay. So, Teresa, have you made any financial decisions? Maybe let's call it financial decisions. Like you make financial decisions on a day-to-day basis, right? Would you say you've made any mistakes just because you were not financially disciplined?
Yes, a lot of mistakes.
Can you share any?
A lot of mistakes, like when we wanted to go into oil business, red oil business. It was what was selling at that time. It was just listening to someone that just randomly said, "Oh, why don't you come? Let's do this oil business and see whether we'll make money from it." And then, like Doctor said, being not having a mind of your own to have decisions to make, you just venture into that business and you lose a lot of money. And at the end of the day, you have
finances. But then the problem is, do we think the current generation actually understands it better than them? Dr. Kayode?
So, two thoughts are going on in my head. The first, it's, sometimes we need to subject our experiences or our past or our beliefs to new, I don't want to use the word revelation, but new insights, right? Because we could believe so much of our experiences at the detriment of what should actually help us. If you meet somebody who built wealth, like who really built wealth, and you listen to them, they could be saying something similar to a poor person. But if you listen very well, the order in which they say those things might just be the issue. Just like our DNA. If you change the sequence, you have changed the entire human being. Up till today, I was in a religious gathering in church, to be precise, right? And there's still this sense of you can wake up tomorrow and get money. In as much as those thoughts are good, and I want to wake up tomorrow and get money. I really want to. That I wake up tomorrow and then I say, billion. I'm just imagine the people who really are influencing this world. The people, and sometimes I used to ask the people close to me, do you believe that the rocket leaves Earth and goes to Mars? Or do you believe that there's International Space Station orbiting the Earth? This thing, Elon Musk was saying in one of his interviews, he said you cannot break the law of physics. There are predictable patterns that helps you ensure that in another 10 years, and I usually give the example of flight. They will tell you you are going to be landing, the pilot will tell you you're going to be landing exactly 10:59. I have done it several times. You check your time, the tire is touching the tarmac at exactly that time. You drive, you fly in the night, the whole sky dark, yet there's a predictability on time, on pattern, on everything. Whether you like it or not, there's a formula that can guarantee your sustainability of wealth. Dr. Nancy, there's a formula you will follow on wealth that even enemy from your village cannot bring you down in another 10 years. They can only succeed if when you are believing in something that is unpredictable. So we need, this generation to be successful must believe in pattern.
Do you think there's a pattern that is just set aside for people to be successful?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Having a pattern for success?
Yes. So if Dr. Kayode Femi is saying that this generation, for them to be as successful as most of us actually want to be, they have to follow a pattern.
It comes with willingness.
So that is why I'm asking. If you said you don't believe there should be a pattern.
It comes with willingness, because it's one thing for you to say this is the pattern, and it's another thing for me to agree and follow that pattern. That's why I said it comes with willingness, self-determination to want to follow the right pattern. But then if you look at the new age generations, they are not patient.
So
they're not ready to learn.
Wrong. There's a right and wrong pattern.
Yes.
Okay. And then they are not patient. So why do you think they are not patient? Is it because of what they have seen so far? Because a lot of us probably grew up in homes where they saw suffering. Like, when I mean
yes.
suffering, like a lot of suffering, right? And with that suffering, they have literally told themselves that there's nothing anybody is going to do to stop me, right? So with that, they make a lot of decisions.
Yes, let me use myself. I also come from that kind of family. But that's what has built me to this level today. When I think about where I'm coming from, I have this willingness to want to be on that pattern to just be different from what every other person has been. Just be follow that pattern to make money. You have to be better than your parents ever were. You have to get to where they never were. It's also discipline and then self-determination. If you're not determined, you can't get it quickly.
In the long run, is still focus. Like if you're not focused, a lot of things can just sway you off the path, and you start going to the wrong direction. So how do people know what the wrong direction is actually? Because I think most people are making decisions because they do not even understand that there's a right and then there's a wrong, right? So Mr. Emmanuel, what do you think?
Okay,
How
so
do you think they can actually find what the right pattern or what the right path is now to making wealth?
okay, thank you, Dr. Nancy. So I think how to know what the right path or the right pattern is to growing or making wealth. So I would like to start answering that question by saying First, you need to define exactly what you want. You see, if wealth means to me having a Ferrari and then living this luxurious living and then, having this luxurious living and then, just wasting money, then the path or the pattern at which I'm going to want to grow my wealth or make wealth might not necessarily be a matter of seriousness. What do I mean? So if what I just want is just get rich quick, then any way can be a way. Why do we have Yahoo boys? Why do we have people go to do money rituals? They make money, don't they?
So there's something like money rituals.
Okay. Let's say that. Okay, fine. Let me agree with you on that. But I can go to steal, right? I mean, if I'm successful and lucky enough, I can make $100 million overnight, right? That's wealth. But that's not the right path to making wealth. So first, you have to define what wealth is to you. If you're not convinced, right, of what your definition of wealth is, then you can begin to choose any path. But as far as growing wealth or making wealth the right way, there is exact formulas. There's an exact formula to making wealth the right way. And if you don't define first what wealth is to you, or what riches is, or what prosperity is, there are different shades of what still indicating the same thing. If you cannot define what wealth is to you, then you will be able to want to choose anyhow pattern. So to know the right pattern, first define what is wealth to me. What do I consider to be wealth? When that decision is made, it's defined rather, then you cannot begin to, okay, fine. So people that have gone through this path and made it the right way, I can study them. Warren Buffett, you understand? They have their biographies and autobiographies all over the internet. I can study how did they get into wealth. And then you can see that there are exact thumbprints of patterns they followed to making wealth. And then it is 1 + 1 in Yoruba, right? Will be 2. If you say it in Hausa, it's the same thing. If I go to Italy, 1 + 1 is what? It's still 2. So this path and these patterns are predictable and they can lead you to sure success in wealth if you follow them. They are not rocket science. Making wealth is not one difficult thing, maybe because of the background most of us came from. I remember the first time I was invited to Lagos, to do my COS with my eldest brother actually. So the first question he asked me, he said, "Have you made 1 million naira before?" You would not imagine the thought in my heart. I said, "Are you kidding me? Is he about to give me 1 million naira?" And then there was this surge in emotions. But I had to maintain steeze and composure to want to know what he would say next. But then he began to, I saw my foolishness. Because the first thing when you meet with a wealthy man, for example, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What you will get. Yes. And do you know that the rich can discern these things? Like it's obvious. It's obvious. So I began to retrain my mind, right? Okay, no, I would not have to want to always seek what will I get from them, especially financially. Why don't I learn their wisdom and then grow? So their exact path, if you first define what wealth is to you, then you begin to study how did these people get there, and then if you follow those exact paths, you can surely make wealth.
So following people's pattern, right, can be very difficult. So let's ask Dr. Kayode, why do you think people would rather fall for get rich quick scheme? In the book, right, it says investing in an unknown basket, especially one promising a get rich quick scheme, is a recipe for disaster. Unless you have thoroughly investigated every corner, every hidden clause, you could end up not in a basket, but in a steaming pot of pepper soup. And trust me, you don't want to be the main ingredient. Don't be a fool. Like, why would somebody now read, let's say somebody reads this, and then will still fall into that pot of pepper soup, instead of following somebody who has done it, gone through it, and has proven or has a track record of being a successful person.
So I think the answer is simple, but it's, if you look at it from the surface, you will not, and that's why I keep saying that you believe. Our lives are not ruled by our senses. It's ruled by our subconscious. It's ruled by our subconscious. What the hard work I do on me is on my beliefs, on my subconscious. One day I was talking to our team in Farmalat, and a particular incident happened. I was in Lagos sitting down with one of our team leaders in the team, and we're eating in a restaurant. And some hoodlums came in. I had to spend over a month apologizing to her. I left her there, I ran. When my senses came back, I was already outside under a staircase. So after that incident, I kept asking, will I run when I'm expected to protect my team? I thought of that thing for almost 3 months, because there's a subconscious part of me that is still afraid, to the detriment of another team member. I asked myself, if this happens, will I run and leave my family? There are questions you will need to ask yourself before that situation comes, because once you're already on the battlefield, you can start learning. When we started this series, we said there's something your parent has given to you subconsciously that you're not aware of. In the face of decision making, Dr. Nancy, let's say 500 million lands in your account. Your sense will first of all disappear. It's your subconscious that will take over your decision. And that's why the idea of building discipline is pretty very important before you even get to that point. So, how many get rich quick scheme has come into Nigeria? Has flooded quite a lot of people. And it will still come. It will come in another form. It will always come in another form. And it will keep sweeping people's money. Until you now tell yourself, sit down and pull out all the foolishness in your subconscious, which takes time, and start putting in new programs. And that's why we talked about the operating system. You have to put in new programs so that when you are squeezed, your sense gives way for the belief in your subconscious. This way now, you cannot tell me. I still have people who still come and bamboozle me. Right now, I see through discipline and I see through patterns, because I've trained my mind that, listen, if anybody comes in and tells me, it wanted to happen to, and pardon me, my parents. All of a sudden, we said we were going to get a property for them. One night, they just called me, and then they said, they've seen one, and the person said, you should pay now. When you just hear now, off the phone, remove your battery, don't switch it on for another 3 days. And guess what? They now wanted to now emotionalize it. I said, this will now, it will not happen. Then they now say they were the one who gave back. I said, you are the one who gave back to me, but this now.
It will not work.
And guess what? I didn't answer. It became a quarrel, but I now digged into the person who was telling them now. The person had the same issue with another 3 other persons on the same property. Don't be instantaneous, Follow a pattern and be disciplined with your money.
So I think we have less than 10 minutes to go. Teresa, so what would you call discipline in your own, when we say financial discipline, what are the attributes you would align with it?
Okay. We've been all the weeks listening to Doctor about the operating system. Planning. You have to plan. You have to budget. When you plan, you budget. If it's out of your budget, like I said, anything that 70% cannot solve, 100% cannot solve it. So you have to budget. What is more priority If other things are not so important, you leave them. You take what is more priority than other things. Because whether we like it or not, things are going to crop up here and there. But with proper planning, scaling, and budgeting, you scale through.
So let me give you an instance, right? And maybe it's just for you to say you will do it or you will not do it. So let's say you're done with your budgeting, your planning and everything, right? And then this financial need comes up and it's affecting or related to someone you deeply care about, right? Um, and you know that you have the money somewhere, but it's not meant for spending at that moment. Do you think because you're building discipline, you would not respond to it?
If it's not in my budget, it's not in my budget now. I'm not the only one that can help at that time. Like doctor said, source from other sources.
Sincerely, you will not do it.
Honestly, I would do it. For the kind of person that I am, I would do it. But going by the operating system, I should give it a pause. Last week, one of our brothers said something about having a separate account you don't have access to. That's another way of saving your money. No matter what is happening, you just have to give yourself time to think. If you have to ask your third self if you're going to be able to go that way or not. Like you said, my loved one, somebody I care about. It's dicey. Because why I said it's very dicey is sometimes, like doctor said, emotions, they can also use emotions to blackmail your conscience. Sometimes it's not in my budget to want to give you that. Not like I cannot give that help. But at that time, it's not in my planning that I should let this be out. So for that, the person
But
can,
that's the situation most of us have found ourselves, right?
yeah, and other people can help before I will come last. I've learned something. Don't be the first to offer help. No, just wait. It's not because you're wicked. No, it's because sometimes it's just emotions. Sometimes they don't really need it. They just want to test whether you can give.
No, but there are some situations where they really need it. Like in such situations, and you know you have it, but you've budgeted. That's the problem.
I don't
like
have.
you have budgeted it.
I don't
and
have.
you've told yourself that this money now it's for something else.
It's not
And
coming
then it
out.
just comes up
I beg to. I'm not.
right now. But before now, would you have done it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's come to you, Mr. Emmanuel, because I think we'll probably round up with this, right? When last did you make a financial mistake?
Earlier this year, I believe.
Earlier this year. What was that? Is this something you want to share actually?
Maybe not into detail.
Details, okay.
But so between last year and then coming into this year, there were some financial decisions I made that landed me into debt. And then I began to pay back since last year. So maybe because of pressure or some few things, right? I decided to want to find a way to just quickly ease that, and then when there are pressures, you want to fall into decisions that you did not logically calculate. When you're talking about discipline, I told myself that discipline is not necessarily a measure of willpower. Discipline is you just simply putting systems in place that makes it very easy for you to make the right decision at every point in time. So what did I do? I just created some different accounts. Religion has done some things to our mind, right? If you say you don't have, and you have in some account, you think you have lied. And your conscience basically will, no, I'm serious, conscience acts more in line with our knowledge. So if I feed my knowledge mind with the fact that this is wrong, then when I go against it, my conscience will prick me. So as far as this account is concerned, it doesn't matter how many million I have in that account. If it's in this account, I don't have one. If it's in this other account and you ask me for money, I can give you. But this particular account, And I will not even feel pain. Sincerely.
Now you will
No,
not feel
I
pain.
won't feel one single pain. I'm not Jesus that died for you. Basically. Do you understand? I won't feel pain if it's in this account. No. So discipline is you just building systems that makes it very easy for you to make decisions, the right decision at that matter. I don't know if I've answered it.
Yes, you have actually. So I think we should be rounding up. So we are probably just going to end it with Dr. Kayode Femi. So Mr. Feb just said something. He said, if it's in that account,
It doesn't have money.
he does not have money and he will not feel pain. What do you think people need to do to get to that point where they don't need to feel pain when they say no to financial requests?
All right. So before answering that question directly, right? So while he was talking and while Teresa was talking, if Socrates said, know thyself. It's an important sentence. Know yourself, know the family you came from. It's also not out of place to know the persistent trouble that are in that family. And to prepare ahead for those troubles. So if you know that most people around you don't have money and they are always asking you for it, it's another form of leadership to plan for those excesses by building options. So, because if all the people around you rely on you without any options, the burden will be bigger. So carefully, before that time comes, ask and I ask myself, if anything happens within the family now, and it's health related, it's because you cannot bring back the hands of time, and it's health related. Will you, because you don't want to touch an account, not attend to that? And it's a very dicey situation. We can say we will not touch it. You will not know, especially if you deeply care about that relationship, when you go to the bank to empty. For health, one of the options is also healthy eating. So build options. It's not money that solves all problems. Sometimes it's just a change in habit. So when you now understand that health can happen, this other thing can happen, start ahead of time talking to them. You said, so, and I apologize, I had to use my wife as an example. She doesn't like me, she doesn't like this part of it. Whatever health issue she has, it's my responsibility to solve it. And then when we go married, I used to see her eat 11 p.m. Gary, you cannot do that. So, if it keeps happening, it's me that will bear the responsibility. She had this undulating eating habit that brings persistent ulcer. And I kept saying that you have this ulcer. I eat less. I've never had any issue with ulcer because I understand my body pattern. But I knew whatever mistake she makes health-wise, it's not going to be her job. It's going to be my job. So I constantly was telling her, this is how to eat. This is the cause of ulcer. This is what it is that you're doing. You eat big one time, then when it's not available, you eat small, you eat big one. No matter how food is available, I don't eat beyond. And it pains me each time maybe I'm lodged in a slightly expensive hotel and you see all the arrays of food. And I just pick 2 apples and 1 egg. I was taken to Lagos. And then the person who said me said, is that all you're going to take? Because I know that I cannot undulate my eating pattern. Once I undulate it, if I eat heavy for a week, my body will want heavy for the next week. And then if I don't have, and I can work a lot under stress without food. I already understand that part. If I start training my body to eat a lot, by the time stress comes in and is not available, my body will break down. So when you understand this pattern, understand your family, understand yourself, there are options. It's not money that will solve everything. Even small sense of saying, once it's 9, don't eat Gary again. Once it's 9, don't eat Gary again. Once you can stop some of these habits, it reduces. Most of our financial burdens are habit related. Once you can cure those habits, you will eventually cure all those financial burdens.
All right, thank you very much. And we're, I think, way past our time by a few minutes. Thank you for joining us this week, and see you again next weekend. Just to end it off, right? Financial decisions are your duty. It's not someone else's own to make. So you make mistakes, it's on you. You make the right ones, it's on you. You decide to build it quickly, it goes quickly. So why not just build a system, right? So thank you very much for joining us, and see you again next weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Right. So has been our week. We have been talking about moving from. So I coined the title, but I'm not used to the word Sapa or something. So I was one who coined the title. I just wanted something that could flow with our current generation. So we have been talking about how to move from Sapa to surplus. So, and the goal is, how do you move from Dr. OBS, blessings, right? Yep. Welcome back. You said you went to Paris, Peru. Yep. Welcome back. And good to have you. All right. So how do we move from not having to having? How do we move from not having to having? Sometimes not even just having to having surplus. So my wife works where they sell cars. She works in Costaris. And one of those days I went to their Lagos showroom and she showed me a car. And I liked the car. What's the price tag? 100 million. And then she narrated also a story of somebody walking into the same showroom and buying a Rolls Royce, a young boy buying a Rolls Royce for, I think, 300 million. And she said the person paid cash. Now, subconsciously, what you want to tell yourself is that those people are doing money ritual, right? So please, even if somebody is doing money ritual, let that not be the first thing that comes to your mind. There are people who genuinely have money. There are people who genuinely have money. And it's not out of place to buy a car 300 million. Right? It's not. It's not out of place. How many of us understand that it's not out of place to buy a car 300 million? It's not really. Some will say they will never do it. That it's all vanity. This, you are just wasting money. Well, that's okay. Right. That's okay. But you could have money. A time will come. It's not somebody that will tell you to buy a jet. It's not somebody. You just understand that you will, because the idea of having surplus is to be able to say you want to do something and you do it. Right. I want to go to Kano. And they said the next flight to Kano is on Wednesday. And I really want to go to Kano. It's not out of place to just fly in your own jet and get to Kano, is it? It's not. Those ideas are possible. Those ideas are possible. Surplus is an idea that is possible. Don't allow your background limit your thought for abundance. Don't allow your background limit your thought for abundance. And this thing I'm saying with every sense of responsibility. One of the biggest lessons I learned in terms of this abundance came in from my wife. So while we were growing up, you will have to cut, because luckily for me, I have my brother here also. We lived in a way where abundance wasn't like the consistent thing you find around. So I grew up with that mind. No, you could just take it. Yes, I grew up with that mind. And so fortunately for me, or unfortunately, I don't know which it is, I married a wife who had the mindset that if you have it, eat it. This life, you don't live it 2 times. If you have it, what? Eat it. So, I will be the one to provide the money for the house. She will be, it's from her I learned that it's possible you cook a soup and you cannot turn the spoon because of the obstructions. The continuous obstruction. Like you will turn like this, it will be hard. You know, the kind former soup you are aware of is you will turn to try to look for the protein. Sometimes you will not find. Sometimes you find it little. For some reason, I don't know where she learned it. She doesn't believe that a soup is well made until you cannot turn it. And she doesn't add just one set of protein. She adds different set of protein. So you cannot but pick protein. So I will want to pick, because I serve myself, right? I enjoy it because I eat with my heart. So not necessarily, I know the quantity I need to pick and I know how I need to pick it. So I will pick my own food and then I will see all the protein, I will still dodge it and put something small. True story. So I will watch her serve herself. Before she starts with a protein. In the middle, she continues with a protein. In the end, it's protein. So I will be passing by and I'll be angry. And I will not be able to tell her that, is this thing not too much? One day I had to tell myself, you were the one who gave her the money. Next time when you want to go and pick soup, you to pick two. I could remember vividly the first day I went into that pot and I picked two. I said, today I've broken this jinx of not having plenty meat. So your background can be telling you that surplus is 1,000. I was talking to somebody a few years ago. He said if he sees 5 million, he will faint. Like if he sees 5 million, the day I knew that I've said this before, and Jerry, $100,000, we had it cash. There was no thought that money was anywhere. I'm not sure I will see money. I don't know what kind of money I will see now that I'll faint. But it took me years to get out that limiting factor. For God's sake, I think I deserve a private jet. Like, I think my work schedule is becoming too tight. Surplus is possible. Don't hate it. Because there's a lot of goods that can be done. Somebody sent me, one of our team members sent me a voice note, and the person was praying for us and praying for the entire business because of what we did for the person. You know, I said last week, there's a lot of good money can do. There's a lot. Was it goodness? I asked her to help me do a research. How many people write JAM every year? Who knows? How many people write JAM? You can Google. It's almost 2 million. What's the total capacity of universities entrance? It's not more than 600,000. So we are producing people who are hitting their head on the wall every day. How much will it take you to build a university? Wouldn't it be just nice to build a university? Wouldn't it be just nice? Don't think it is your own success that matters. God, I think, I'm not sure, and I know we have clerics here, I think God will punish you if you don't help humanity. I think God will punish people if you don't help humanity. Are there people, young people who have moved into prostitution, who have moved into stealing because there's no hope? They've done jam the first time, jam has jammed them, they've jam the second time, jam them again, they did jam the third time, jam them again. And then they felt they were constantly going home to parents who see them as being useless. Can you even build a university and say, no jam? Or you think you cannot have that level of money, that jam? You don't need jam. You've done jam, you have failed. We accept people from 50 to 100, all come. You will see how many applications we flood. And then you pick up those lives and start helping them. Somebody came and was thanking somebody in tears and was saying that the person saved, she was at the point of committing suicide. This whole K-Trybe movement is not for you. It can start with you, but it's not for you. It's for you to be able to build surplus so that you can be of help to people. So that you can be of help. And you will have to, if you don't carry that mentality, with just 10 million naira, you'll be okay. I told us, expenses, not so much. We've lived lean. So with few millions here and there, you can be fine. If you're not that ambitious or great. But we are not building for ourselves. We're building for people who will be able to participate in the growth that we've encountered. I want you to make surplus a commitment. Make what? Surplus a commitment. So we started, and it's 4. So we have brief 45 minutes. We started with the thought, the operating system of money. And we said, what? That money is important. And I think that's what I started with. We said money is important, right? And one of my biggest arguments is that I hope you believe it's important. When something is important, what will you do? You will go all out for it. I had this friend then, we liked each other, and I thought she was an important piece in my life. And I used to leave where I was serving to go to the north, standing to go and see her. When you sacrifice because you think something is important, it's the right pattern. If you think money is important, so I did jam twice. I did jam the first time they gave me veterinary medicine. I didn't think I was going to excel with veterinary medicine, so I did jam again the second time. I wanted human medicine, and luckily for me, I was grateful. I didn't get human medicine, right? So they gave me veterinary medicine again. So why will you do something twice? It's because you think it's important, right? You will have to commit to studying. And this is just a free advice, right? Go and get all the books, Rich Dad Poor Dad. How many people have read Rich Dad Poor Dad here? Right. Go and read Rich Dad Poor Dad. There's a book, Richest Man in Babylon, John Clason. Go and read it. You've read it? Fantastic. Fantastic. Sleep and wake up with it until you become the thoughts in those books. Because that's where the power lies, is in becoming the thoughts. You can say what I'm saying. If you don't have my discipline, you cannot produce my results. Right. You can say, and I want you to pay attention to this. You can say what I'm saying. You can even know what it is that I know. But if you have not subconsciously believed strong enough that it affects your individual actions, your daily routines, you won't be able to produce the results. So you will have to stay with some of those books. If you have read it once, you have to read it again. Right. And if it doesn't connect with you, you have to find a book. How many of us have ever read a book 20 times? You have read one particular book 20 times. Because you need to become the thoughts. So I learned a good English church today. The man said, it is my own calculated opinion. So let me say that it is my calculated opinion that money is important. What did we say? It's abundant. It's abundant. You know what I used to do then? It's just that now I've overcome that part. I used to go to a hotel and go and sit in the lounge. And it was my friend that drove me to that level of consciousness. I didn't know I have gotten used to disorder, that I cannot sleep when a place is well arranged. Jakes, 300 level, roommates. I will go into the room after class, I will see everywhere arranged. Neat, sparkling clean. My body will be itching me. I will have to scatter the mattress to sleep. I will have to scatter the room to feel at ease. When he comes in, he will need to rearrange the room to sleep. One day I asked myself, so why can't I sleep in a neat place? Because I'd spent the useful part of my growing up with clothes on ropes. So you can understand if you think money is scarce. Is money scarce in Nigeria? The default answer will be yes. You cannot carry that scarcity mentality and attract abundance. So I will go to hotel lobbies. I've been disgraced like 2 or 3 times, but I didn't stop. I kept telling my mind, you need to absorb abundance. One day I came to Abuja then, from Zaire, I was still in school then. We came for a full gospel business meeting. For the first time in my life, I saw a WC with button. I stayed in that place. So. She's laughing, coming out. He's butting that flushes it. Even the one that they did like this, we didn't have access. You know the one that we were using, the one that you have to bend. You don't need flush. For the first time in a conference, I stayed in that place. It's something that you can press that allows water to come. Everything that doesn't press in my mind had to leave. You have scarcity. If you don't yet dream of owning your own, just think of whatever it is. I don't want to give you my own desire. I don't want to give you my own desire. Thinking of owning something big. I entered in Port Harcourt then, entered inside a shell company, went to see somebody. While I was walking through that place, I said, one day I will build a big company and people will be able to wear suit and walk inside. That was after 6 months of looking for 28,000. Because you see, you can deceive your mind. You know, we said it constantly in our first class. Don't allow your environment sell you your own identity. I give myself another set of identity. Do you know how long I've been calling myself a billionaire? Do you know how long? Jerry said one of those stories. Came in one room that they've turned into orphanage. One student mattress, yet on the wall is my title. Please, if it means you waking up every morning and telling yourself that this money has been printed, the only thing that is remaining is for you to land inside my account. Go and get a checkbook, your own checkbook. Write your name. And I did this. I don't need to do that now, but I did this when I was growing up. Write to yourself, 500 million. You deserve it.
Yes, sir.
And that 500 million will enter. You will not faint. The day 500 million came into one of our accounts, and I'm saying this with very small sense of responsibility, right? I don't think 2 times about it now. Because by the time it came, my mind has stretched to something bigger. You cannot sleep because of 1 million. Your frying pan is for small fish. Go and expand it so that by the time it comes, you're already on to something else. Don't allow small money drive you nuts. Say this after me, money is abundant. Fantastic. How much did MTN make last year revenue? I told our team we need to increase our sales to 1 billion every month. And you know, I was struggling hard to say, can we get to 1 billion? How long will it take us to get to 1 billion? I now went to Google. How much did MTN make last year? 2.5 trillion. The call you are making. So I kept my SIM card. Luckily for me, I had a SIM card pack of MTN. These people made 2.5 trillion. That's like 2 trillion every month on something I can see. I went to Google. I said, what's the name of the CEO? I saw him, he's a Nigerian. I said, look at it. I'm looking at 1 billion every month. And this person made 2 trillion. I look at his head. It doesn't look too different from my own head. Look at his eyes. It's still, the position of his eyes It's the position of my own eyes. Because once you stretch your mind to accommodate what is possible, you will produce it. I want all of you to go back, right? Go and write figures that scare you. And say it to yourself every day until you mention it, it becomes normal. Don't be like my friend who said if he sees 5 million, he will faint. We said money is selective. It goes in the direction of value. Value. What you want to have is a reputation for value. What you want to have. And that will cause you to work hard. They say, who edited this video? Oh, it is Simon. Who edited it? Let people be able to trace good work back to you. I was on a call, was it yesterday or yesterday, yes. And I said, oh no, I'm not recontesting for a position. I'm on the veterinary council board, the youngest member of the veterinary council board. And you know, I just said publicly that no, I'm not recontesting. 3 people called me immediately. He said, why? That please, I should recontest. I said, no, I want to focus on the business. He said, no, I should recontest. When you are leaving a place, if you leave the place, and I say this not out of arrogance, right? Because there are 2 sides of it. But they have to feel that without you, this thing will not be complete. So this is in a level. There's another level where when you leave and it excels beyond you, that one you're a superstar, but we'll get to that level. That's a leadership level. But the first individual level is that when they see your name, I told us in one of the meetings, one of the persons I served, there was chaos. I wasn't around. The moment she was saying, where's Femi, where's Femi, where's Femi? The moment I landed, she entered inside her car and left. Hey, because if I land, it will go well. If they keep an assignment, key yourself to get it done. Your reputation of always getting things done, whether you have money or not, it will catch up with you. Have a reputation for value. Have a reputation for value. When they just write you, so, you know, I know Dangote is having some hard time, but you know, the thing is already cooling down. That man will overcome everything, right? But once his brand name is on a business, you know it will succeed. When they mention Asika, what comes to people's mind? If nothing comes to people's mind when your name is mentioned, you know that your ability to attract money is still limited. Somebody was saying something that get Femi involved. That if you get Femi involved, the thing will be big. Because for some reasons, I've done national conventions before, and then people were asking, is it the first time they're organizing these things? Because once you hold something and your signature, your name is on it, throw in your entire self into it. Don't even do it for money. It will look for you over time. And we said the last thing. What was the last thing we said? That money is a seed and it can grow. That's right. It can grow. Then last week, we eventually started talking about the habits of money, the disciplines of money. The disciplines of money. See, when we were growing up, a few 5, 6, 7 years ago, I had this clique of young people. And this clique of young people, one of us have succeeded. In fact, some of you know the person. The person has raised in excess of $10 million. Right, young person, still unmarried. And when I looked at all our lives, it was obvious why he succeeded. He was the most disciplined person among all of us. It is not your handsomeness. It is not your suit. It is not your height. It is not the color of your skin. It is nothing. What keeps you consistently growing are your discipline. Are your discipline. So just imagine I come to talk to you and I lose discipline. Nature will not say because I spoke to you. Nature will only respect I can only bet my life because I can bet on my discipline. So if we say 70%, don't spend 70%, I am absolutely very convinced. You know how people eat from one side and it goes out from the other side? Some people will still not do it. So why won't people do it? First, we mentioned it when we were starting. Because of what we have in our subconscious. We are a problem-conscious continent. A problem-conscious continent. Problem is around us. Problem-conscious. And some of these problems are really not your fault, right? Some of these problems are inherited problems. They are not your fault. Where did you people pray? 4. Where's 4? Okay. So, you will have problems all around you. Chisom, just come. You have some problems right now, right? Yes. Do you? You have? Please come. You want to share with us what kind of problems do you have? Yes, share. What kind of problem? Or the ones that we can hear.
Okay.
What kind of problems do you have?
Basically financial problems.
Any problem
Okay,
that requires money.
Okay, I'll say the fact that I've not been able to achieve what the target I set, financial target I set for myself for this year.
Okay, so why have you not been able to achieve the financial target? You earn salary, like I know where you work, right? Mm-hmm.
So as I said last week, you kind of like think that by spending 100% of your salary or more than 70%.
Have you been spending 100% of your salary?
Nope.
Okay, so you've been saving some?
Yeah, I've been spending like 60%, but I feel like even that 60% is too like.
So you have consistently spent 60% of your salary?
Yes.
So that means you have some money?
Yes, but still not up to what I want.
You have some money?
Yes. But I can't access it.
Okay, you cannot access it. What do you want?
Currently, I need to pay for certain fees.
Fees? What kind of fees?
School fees.
School fees? Your own school fees?
Yeah.
Okay, for your own school?
Yeah.
How long have you been saving the 60, the 40%?
I would say, let me say 40%. 40% I've been saving. Basically, I save it via different means. So they are for different reasons. So there's a savings for house rent, there's a savings for investment, and savings for.
You do this through accounts?
Yes.
So,
no, like once it comes in, I have different like contributions. So when I collect this contribution, I have these contributions for house rent.
How do you pay for the contribution?
They are different. Okay, basically, I have an app where I buy shares.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
As long as I can remember.
Like how long?
I've always been someone that saves. So once it's time.
You've done this for up to a year?
Yes.
If you can prove to me, we will add to that contribution and we'll get it going.
Okay, okay,
But
yes.
you will need to be able to prove to me that you've been able to do that.
Yes, I've been able to do that, but I've used some part of the money for my rent. But not like a different
Auntie,
contribution.
tomorrow is Monday.
Yes.
Come and show me proof. If you need to print the account details, if I
Okay.
see that you've been consistent with these savings,
Yeah.
whatever financial target you have, will
Okay.
add to it.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
you say, right. I brought her out just to say that words are easy. It is discipline that is difficult. When Dr. Nancy was saying something really very genuine, because you will have problems. This world is full of problems. The one that you caused, the one that you didn't cause. All. But if you have cultivated the discipline, it doesn't matter the amount. I said last 2 weeks that the minister said less than 5% of the entire active bank account has less than 500,000. So it means that just 5% of accounts in the bank now have more than 500,000. So if you are earning 100,000 and then you're saving 30%, it means that in a year you are almost in the 5% league. It's the beginning of every discipline that is difficult. If you can stay, like I've been staying on this wealth thing for almost 15 years now, right? And have witnessed several changes within those 15 years. It's the beginning of a discipline that is difficult. Outside that beginning, everything becomes easy. God bless your soul if it has now become a habit. At this stage, I cannot just wake up and start spending money like a fool. Not because I can't spend money like a fool. It doesn't just occur to me to be stupid with money anymore. I've built habits that has helped me to this stage. And it's almost by default. It's by default I price things. And Jerry knows this part of me. You go, we wanted to buy a car. And Jerry had told me that this person has called this car is last price, this price. By default, my mind still wants to bring down the cost. Saved almost 10% in less than 15-minute conversation. That savings, you can use it for other things. It's not because you have, that's why you just give, oh yeah, you don't price. They say, how much is kuli? Kuli is 30,000. Okay, 30,000. Make it at 5,000. And so sometimes people misunderstand this part of me that maybe I don't want to spend. It's by default. It's from the ability to negotiate that I got to this stage. Even if I can walk away from somebody because of 100 naira. Because sometimes walking away is also a good negotiating tactics. You walk away and then you see whether they call you back. If they don't call you back, it will not be paining you, but you cannot go back again. If you go back again, you have lost that excess. See, it's 30,000. No. I'm going to pay 29,000. No, it's 30,000. You're sure? You're not paying 30,000. I'm going to. Listen. Then when you walk away and you go and meet another person, you have an idea that if this thing can be bought at 29,000, this person will have called you back. It gives you a basis. Then you have to go to another place and negotiate. And if you have gone everywhere, you cannot get it cheaper than 29,000, you just bury your pride and come back. The disciplines of not spending everything will be the most useful discipline you will ever have to break the back of poverty. From this moment on, don't ever spend your account to zero. Don't ever get to that point where your account balance is zero. If you can do 30%, it's fine. If you can't do 30%, do 20%. Now, I think what I said on the group is that put it in an account that is separate, and it's okay, that you cannot touch. Sometimes you give it to people, but you have to watch the. I saw somebody who was working outside the country, and then he was saving money with his brother. By the time he came back, true story, right? True story. By the time he came back, all his savings gone. So you have to keep it in a place that another person cannot reap the reward of your hard work, right? So, but the goal of saving money is not to save it. The goal of saving money is to grow it. Right. So how do you grow money or multiply money? There are three basic ways. There's an active, there's a passive, and there's a portfolio. There's an active, there's a passive, and then there's a portfolio. So let's start with the passive. So what do you mean by passive way? So first of all, you have to store money until it's enough to start multiplying it, right? There are some passive that will bond you. There are some passive that will not bond you, right? Friend of mine one time approached me and said, oh, give me money, I'll pay you so every interest, right? So the way I judge with those type of situation is to know whether this person already has a track record of success. If the person doesn't have a track record of success, don't give the person your money. Don't, for whatever reason. For whatever reason, don't. Who in this place, right, have given somebody money and you earn consistently for a long time? Who has done that? You've given, put your money somewhere. All right, please come forward. Let's give you the mic. I really don't like talking about it because you could lose your entire investment. But I have a couple. Like, you give your money, please come forward. Yeah. So I want you to share with us what you did, where you gave your money to, if you can be slightly a lot more open, if you can, why not? And then how much percentage is it giving you per time?
Okay, I'm very shy.
No, go ahead.
So it was when I came to Uni Abuja, because I did direct entry to Uni Abuja. So when I was coming, I wanted to go to Maiduguri because, okay, all right, okay. So it was when I was coming to school, I did direct entry to Uni Abuja. Previously, I tried to go to UI, I was rejected, so I wanted to go to Unimed because I know I was going to like sponsor myself in school. So I had to plan how I'm going to finance my education. So I wanted to go to Unimed because I wanted to be practicing large animal. So I ended up in Abuja. And before that time, I finished my national diploma, so I had saved some money. I think it was like 300K in 2017. So I know I'll finish the money if I come to Abuja. I have asked my friend how it is in Abuja, and I know I was not going to be able to do anything with that 300K because I wanted to read vet medicine. So while I was coming, one of my friends told me you have to have a laptop because they read with laptops here and all of that. So when I went to the laptop, I now saw the person's business. When they sold the laptop for me, it had a fault. And for the first time in my life, somebody saw something for me online and called me back to come and replace it. So he gained my trust. So I explained to him I have some money that I would like to invest in the business. So what he did for me was that um, I gave him the 300K. So he now said, okay, he will be helping me to use the money. He's not going to mix it with his own business. So he will use the money to buy a number of laptops that amount can carry. So I gave him, so he will be updating me, okay, your money bought 3 laptops, we have resold it, your 300K is now 320K, stuff like that. So that was how it started. And for long, I kept the money with him for so long, till when I was in, I think, 500 level. Yeah. So I now kind of started my own business that way. So it was not basically a percentage or something. It was like using the money.
How much has the money grown to now?
Um, in April, March, April, it was like 4.5.
4.5 million. Put your hands together. 4. Thank you. You can go and sit down. It will be your. I will think about it. It was while he was talking and while I was thinking through today's topic, we'll probably need to find somewhere to keep money that grows. 300. And you see, that's how nice things can be. 300 can become 4.5 million. 300,000 can be 4.5 million over time. He kept it with somebody. The only issue in Nigeria is that you will need to find a trustworthy person. Once you don't find, you will lose your money. But once you find, because they are genuine business that brings in income. And I won't tax any one of you, right? Just that the issue I have now is that I don't have any small business that you could piece money together and then that could raise the money up, right? But if any one of you have any idea, right, that people can put, and the reason why I love to experiment, right, is because it's in experimentation that you will know whether something is working or not, right? I want to find an idea that you could put together 50, 100,000. We'll put it together and we'll collectively watch it grow. For just a few two reasons. The emotions you get when you watch that this thing can grow. When we started our business, the phone may not be calling figures, right? But I've watched 400 to 700 million to watch things pick up. What it does to your subconscious is this belief. I wish, I didn't plan for this. I will share. When we started in Lagos, after paying all our debt and we had to start all over again, the shelves were empty. The product on those shelves, I'm not sure if they were up to 300,000 shelves. So you could see space everywhere. And I kept that picture. I will frame it one day to let people know. And then to a place where you are now operating warehouses. I have seen things grow. So that's why it's easy for me to come and talk. If any one of you have an idea, I will vet it. Because it is not meant to get us to talk. I want us to be able to put money together and all of us will watch that basket. But the idea that you're earning something not from your sweat, because you will always not need to sweat at the end of the day. I know most of us are employed, you're employed, it's your own direct labor. You have to pick some of that money and put it in a system where it's not your direct labor again. You will have to do that. You don't have an option. If you have an option, I will be able to tell you. Because one day your body will break down. When your body breaks down and you can no longer earn, it is the skill of being able to wisely put your money in something that is working that will eventually sustain you. Sometimes you can even do it to the extent that you don't even need your daily job. Those of you in family, you will need it too. It's not yet time, right? Go and say you don't need it and resign, right? But you will need to get to that point where if you're working for the love of the vision, not for the love of your own bills. So if any one of you have any idea, please inbox me. I'll use my experience to vet the idea, as long as I now certify that this thing is within our reach to put in money, I'll let us know. But you will need a passive income. You need a passive income. I told all of us to get some stocks, one particular point. Those are portfolio incomes. We will get to that. The next thing is start, regardless of how small it is, start something side. Somebody came to meet me and said, oh, can I start maybe buy minerals that he sees that we are buying minerals plenty and he wants to buy and start selling. Buy it. Start it. See, we are all young now, right? We will always not be young. The problem is that age catch-ups, like I'm 40. Like I'm 40. This 40 thing, I had it in my mind some 15 years ago. 1 month has passed after 40 now. Before you know it, I'm 50. Before you know it, I'm 70. Before you know it, 80, 100. And then I will not be working with stick. And I said, Dr. Nancy, like life catches up very fast. So what you want to do is to use this your active age. And there are people who at their old age, they cannot move around again. I want all of you, don't, in fact, I will not forgive you if you are asking your children to send you money. Unfortunately, I was saying this last week, and one of our parents were watching, and I felt very bad. See, this thing is, we should put it, parental guidance. No parent should watch it, because they will not like me. They will not like me. But I don't want to be afraid not to tell you the truth. It's okay that we take care of our parents. I'm currently doing that with the whole of my heart. And you know, it was watching my mother-in-law died that I made a commitment that regardless of it, whenever my parent calls, even also at this stage I can do that, even if there's no explanation, I will send it. Once I know that it's for their upkeep, like I send it. Because again, that is where we are. I have to. It's my job. So their own time, they cannot rewind time. But we're still at our active stage. So just imagine, Asika, Dr. Asika, that you are 60. I will punish you. And you cannot pay your house rent. And you're calling your children. So we don't think this thing is abnormal in Africa because we were not taught to build. We were taught to use our effort and then rely on our children. So today you have to make up your mind And you can start today to build your own estate. And this thing is only happening to a circle of poor people. And their parents, and I've seen no one, no two times, I've attended those weddings. The son will be getting married. The son will not spend one dime. The wedding well covered. In fact, as the son is leaving that wedding, the parent had already bought house and furnished everything with a car and did everything. I've seen it not once, not two times, not three times. So what do you want to be? A blessing or a burden? Would it be nice? I have 3 girls. They would just come and meet me and said, oh, they're wedding. I said, okay. I said, maybe the husband's name, maybe it's James or whatever. Whatever it was. I said, okay. So please allow me cover this entire wedding. Can't I? I said, allow me. No, don't worry. Allow me cover this wedding. Did you see the wedding? And you should be watching very nice wedding. Did you see the wedding of this Indian's richest man? What's his name now? This richest Indian man, what's his name now? You go and Google it. He closed up the entire India for his son's wedding. Do you know the quality of people that came? I was watching that wedding. I saw the son. This one is getting married. I say, I'll cover the wedding. And as they are finishing, they are going to a furnished house. And then I will draw. I said, do this for your own children. Let me tell you, and just give me another 5 minutes, right? Let me tell you why it's difficult for Africa to break out of poverty. We carry past mistakes. In fact, most young African people are starting from negative. So let's say you have finished school. You are now a vet. Now you start earning. Instead of you to now start building forward, you will now start using whatever it is that you're earning to repair all the past. By the time you use 10, 15 years to repair all the past, you're already a bitter person. And now you are now married. You are now giving birth to children. You are buying diaper. You are buying Godimo. You are buying. Then your wife wakes up one morning and doesn't like you because you've not given her money for hair. You will now be bothered about your own immediate family. You do that for another 20 years. You're already 65. You have not built anything for yourself. Then you now start calling your children. Nah, Emeka. It's me that trained you. If I'm your father that trained you, you will have to send me money. Now, Emeka, there's no food in the house. Does that happen? It happens for one simple reason. It happens for one simple reason. We are not building. So just imagine you have built a reputation, built a big business, and then your children comes to take it over, and you tell them, this thing, you have to take it higher than where I've been. You have to sow in them the seed of building better, building bigger, right? And then your business was worth $1 billion when you were alive. Then they took it because you have sown in them. Because if you have this future mindset, you will know what seed to sow in your children. And then they take it from 1 billion to 10 billion. Then the next generation comes and take it to $1 trillion. I want you to cancel house rent, cancel school fees, all those things that keep a young person depressed. Cancel it away. And decide that it is you, that I think so, and I believe so, that it is me that will bring my community. I'm not even saying my family. I still believe, and I hope Kogi people are not listening because they will think I'm political. I still think it's me that will take Kogi to the limelight. I'm going back. We'll go and set up industries. We'll set up a hub there that is just technology. I have dreams in my head. You pump in 1 billion to build a community of young people producing things that China will not be able to. Bring in technical expertise. Right. So don't think of calling your children for house rent. In fact, write it. You know, there was a day I wrote on my wisdom book. I call it wisdom book. Then I've stopped doing wisdom book. I call it journal. I say I would rather die than call my father for money again. I wrote that. Simon, you want to smile or you want to cry? Which of them is it? I said, I'd rather die than call my dad for money. So what do you need to do? They can sack you, but start building a skill for a side business. You have to do it. Sell kulukuli. In fact, sell recharge card. Whatever it is. Have something you're doing by the side. Have. Babin Salo. Just look around. Your savings, you have to make it active by investing in a business for the skill, for the experience, and for the income. Sell shoes. Sell something. Buy and sell. There's money in buying and selling. If you buy this thing, 10 naira, and you sell it 30 naira, how much have you gained? And promise yourself not to eat the money. Keep it there and watch it grow. So that's the active part. The portfolio part is something we have demonstrated in the last 2 weeks. How many of us bought the shares I told us to buy? Right, so we have a few people. Thank you. Fidelity Bank shares, I think it has closed now. Zenith is on now. I don't know how much Zenith is sharing. 36 naira. What's the minimum that you buy for Zenith? Yes, I know GTB was 90 something. I can't remember. For Fidelity then when they were still active, you just need only 10,000 naira to buy their shares. 9,750. So you have passive, you have active, and you have portfolio. Once you are storing or saving your money, it needs to go into any of these three, and you will need to master the skill. You will need to master the skill of investing that it is not your sweat, but is growing, of building a business. Along that, we all build businesses. It's important. You cannot, I know some people have said they are not this business type or something. So I don't know. I still don't have an answer to those questions, right? Whether you're a business type or not business type. But I don't know how you will make more money without building businesses. And you know, I'm an employer of labor, but I have to also tell us the truth. I don't know how. Salary will keep increasing, so your needs will. So your needs will. I earn salary, but it's not enough. If I stay on my salary, I won't be able to take care of my family. Like I will not be able to. So you have to do something. And it's better to start now, to start building it. All right, so let's take a few questions.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So, a question concerning savings. I don't know if I have been making a foolish decision. So, I graduated last year. So, like what I explained, so I collected my money. I want to be doing my stuff my way. So, and also I want to be saving every month. I want to be I want to have a target. So I don't actually monitor my income, like how much I'm earning per month. I'm just focused on how much I save per month. I remember last year I was like, I want to be saving 10K per day, and I was doing that. So along the line, things will happen, like what is happening to me recently, pay some school fees, pay house rent, send money home. So I lost track of everything. So, and I'm finding it very difficult to get back on track. Although when you mentioned um, format like percentage, someone like me is very difficult to even um, monitor how much I spend. I can just wake up now and say, well, I want to go to Jabi, I need to. I don't know if you want to share any insight on that.
So you think it's difficult to monitor what you spend, but you will have to build the habit. You will need to be able to track your expenses. You will have to. So what has saved me is that some of these smaller expenses, I don't track them, but I budget the bulk. Let's say the house. The house needs so. I just tell my wife, this is how much we're going to spend this month on the house. I don't need to bother how many Maggi, how many bread, how many this is that. So those are very laborious for me. But you will have to be able to track how much it is you spend on a monthly basis for your own planning, for your own budgeting. Okay, so like I have an idea of how much I spend on myself every month. So I know that I need this month. And good thing, I keep those money in 3 months. So that, because life happens. Life happens. I learned this from Bill Gates, not the total fans of mine, but from Bill Gates. He said they are 10 years ahead of Microsoft when he made that statement, that they are 10 years ahead of failure. So it will be a good thing that you also plan for yourself that if no money comes in 1 year, you are not under pressure. Because the reason why we make some very stupid or foolish decisions is because we are under pressure, because there's nowhere to fall to. Please sit down, please. So ensure you have to track your expenses. But again, I think the important thing I need to stress is that you're not saving for saving's sake. It will not be wise. You're saving to invest. The goal of savings is to grow it, to have enough to grow. So while you're saving, and the reason why I encourage a percentage, if you say you want to be saving 10,000 per day, maybe you're running a business, you're not earning a salary, so that's okay. So you pick 5,000 or 10,000 every day from your business and put it in a savings account. That works perfectly. The reason why I said percentage is most people are earning salary. So when it's coming, it has to come in through a formula, a funnel that divides into various aspects. But while you're doing that, you will have to actively also be asking yourself, how can I grow this money? Who can I give it to that it grows? Where can I put it? Or what can I start? Jerry was telling me that even cash now, that to get cash, you have to pay money. I didn't know cash is now that difficult. So you get cash. If you have access to cash, what do you have? Maybe you have an uncle that works in bank that can give you 1 million. You can sell money to make money. So you have to keep asking yourself, how can I move this money from 1 to 2 to 5? He said 300,000 became 4.5 million. So the goal of savings is not savings. The goal of savings is what? To put it in a profitable investment. And let me tell you, most young people are lazy. That's why I actively keep thinking, how do we grow our business? We're going to be in Ghana soon, and by third quarter of next year. And 1 year ahead of the time, I'm already planning all the networks, all the qualifications. A few of our vets will now, I've started the process, will now be licensed to practice in other African countries. I downloaded Duolingo today. to start learning French because bulk of West Africa is French speaking. It's a 1 year ahead that we want to start in 1 year, but you've started preparing. So you might say you want to invest in something. While you are saving, you can be studying all about it. Sometimes, even if it's a business that you're thinking will work, before you do it in a big scale, do it in a small scale and learn. We will always lose money. Oh. It's not something you can escape. I know when we're talking on the stage, we said, maybe we're afraid to lose money. You will always lose money. But don't lose your entire capital and your entire savings. Plan money that you use to test. This your friend that you said you want to give money to. Give him. I have 150,000. So what are you doing? Can I help? How much can I get every month? Okay, I can give you 5% or 10% every month. Oh, you're sure? You're sure? 50,000. You can do 50,000 will not kill you. That will kill you. Give the person 50,000. If he's consistently giving you 5,000 and do it for 6 months, because some people will give you for 3 months and then they will now come and stop. Right. Always be looking out for character in those people. Right. And then test. Once you hit a business or you hit an idea, which I cannot sell to you in one meeting, once you hit an idea that will work for a long time, you will see. You can grow from there, but you will sometimes lose money. But don't let that deter you. Is that okay? So the goal of savings is to invest, not for savings' sake. All right, good. All right, good, Mr. Simon.
Okay, sir. My question is, how will I say, what's the easiest way to get out of debt? Like,
yeah, and it's a very strong question. Go ahead.
Yes, because most times, I think when you don't have enough to sort your needs and to save, and you end up borrowing, and most times when you get your paying
debt,
the debt, and most times you can't even pay enough, and then maybe if you borrow for maybe all this online, and then your interest are going up like that. So what's the best way to get out of that kind of condition or situation?
All right, thank you for that question. Very strong question. So avoid debt as much as possible. In fact, you can ask people to dash you. Avoid debt, I know somebody, and it's a very sad story. In fact, some online published somebody's name that he's dead. Another one they said he has HIV, that everybody should avoid him. And they were sending it to people that know. I didn't understand that tactics. And I said, so I wanted to find out, was now calling around to just be sure that this thing is, I said, oh, let me call this person that they said this person has HIV. Then it is now, I think after the second attempt I saw it, and I realized that, these online people, they will pick your name, put your picture, either they advertise you have HIV, or that you're running away with money, or you are dead. This is or what? A committed, you see, just to tarnish your name. Avoid debt. Avoid debt. And there are few things you need to be alive. It's food and water. And you have that one. You don't pay for that one, right? Yeah. You have that one. I wish you don't pay for that. Pay for that. So water and food. And if food, and I give you a personal example. I told us, I know it was like a joke. I had to cut down my food. I had to cut down. You will only be lean. That's the only outcome of not eating enough. That's the only outcome. That's the only outcome. But I think the good outcome is that you will not have pot belly. You can cut, because food takes a lot of our money.
Yeah.
Food takes a lot of our money. I was talking to my wife, I was like, do we spend this much on food? But I decided not to cut it. But it takes a lot. So what else? For a young man, maybe you have a girlfriend. Uncle, take care of your girlfriend, right? The measure. So what else takes money? Our parents have a budget for it. So what else takes you? Maybe transportation. So look at everything that takes your money and budget it. This idea or this advice might be simple, but it will save you a lot. Anything that falls outside that budget, say no to it. Anything that falls outside that budget, say no to it. If you're spending money on cutting your hair, you can buy a clipper. I can cut my hair. I can cut. I know. Do you see? Does this hair look like the hair that I once started? When I started cutting my hair, but although I've stopped now, so I only shave myself. Once I started cutting my hair, there was one time like that, I cut everything and then I left a patch. Although it wasn't money that made me not to be going there then, but it was the time to keep going out. So I said, cutting my hair, I can do that. And I saw Sotwen, he used to be my friend, he used to cut his hair. I left one big patch. But you can cut down all your expenses. As much as possible, don't borrow. Once you want to borrow, I'm not afraid to borrow now. I can borrow money. But I borrow for something that will grow, not for something that will eat. If it means us staying on water, don't borrow to eat. And plan your transportation, plan your food, buy Indomie, buy Gary. And I said also jokingly that our stomach, God knew why he covered it with skin. No glass. So just imagine his glass. You just be talking, his Gary, they will be seeing all. And the body is so nice that the body can digest just anything and keep you alive. It was from school, they will say, they will give me rice. They will not say fish not, meat not. Do you know what that means? No fish, no meat. When you say they will give you rice, meat not, fish not. They understand that you don't want fish, you don't want meat. Nothing will happen to you. Your head might just be getting bigger than your body. Once money comes in, it will correct itself. Don't borrow. Don't borrow. Thank you. Let's take the last question.
There's an online question. So.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Running services that funds come in spontaneously. How do you advise this person strategically budget his or her savings?
Running, I didn't get that first question.
Running services that funds come in spontaneously.
That funds
come in spontaneously.
That funds? No, running budgets.
Running services that funds come in spontaneously. Yeah. How do you advise this person strategically budgeting his or her savings?
Everything is a formula. You see, the goal is that once you start this formula thing, the first thing that will happen to you is that you can never be poor again. So let's say the service comes in and is 1 million. You have saved 300,000 that you are not going to touch. And you know all your expenses will be on 700,000. Then 3 months, nothing happens. And then another service comes in that is 100,000. You take out 30,000, it has become 300,000, 330,000. Once you start this thing, first of all, that's the least your money can ever be. except if you make a stupid decision, invest your saving in something that cannot grow. The biggest thing is for you to now work on your expenditure. And that's what kills us most often, is your expenditure. So expenditure. Okay, so expenditure. So if it's coming spontaneously, use a formula and then cut your expenditure to the barest minimum. To the barest minimum, so that at least you can have enough until your next service income. All right, go ahead. What's the next one?
Another question. Hi, sir. Thank you for this powerful insight so far. I want to ask, what's your advice on investing on your wife? If she has a skill and the time by setting her up or building a family business that may be different from her goal, but you want her to manage it while you do 9 to 5.
Yes, so that's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. So you could set up, so it depends. You could set up your wife, and we have quite a handful of people doing that. So for husband and wife, it's more of your own private decision. I hardly want to advise, and I know my wife is watching, left for me, I want my wife to just stay at home. Like, just stay at home and take care of the children and take care of me. Take care of but she's not doing that. So what do I do? What do I do? I have to manage, right? So this husband and wife thing, I've learned with experience that a formula doesn't work. Doesn't work. So you that is asking a question, tell your wife, will she want to run a business and can she do it? If the answer is okay and you're okay with it, go ahead. It's actually a very good thing. I like that idea, that your wife is running a business, you keep your 9 to 5, and income. Some people like income to be together, some people like it differently. It's all up to you. So it's not something I can just give you a formula, except both of you sit down and understand what it is that you want. What works for one might not work for the other. I'm not sure if I want, business is stressful. I'm not sure if I'm having that stress, I want my wife to have the same stress. I don't. And this is a lot personal. But if both of you are working on trying to make ends meet and you are trying to leave poverty, it's better all hands are on deck. But once there's full thing on the table again that everybody can eat, then other things can be more prioritized. Maybe the children, maybe the future, maybe your even happiness myself. I can tell. So it depends. I'm sorry I have to disappoint you on that question. Maybe we'll get speakers that are more relationship inclined. I'm not a guru in it.
Sir, for business starters, do you advise side businesses as compared to a business that you grow to the point of being able to impact others as they render their services?
No. So take that question again so I get what the person.
Sir, for business starters,
yes,
do you advise side businesses?
No, what do you mean by business starter? So when you are starting up the business, why are you doing side business? Oh, no, I need to get the question correctly.
Do you advise side businesses as compared to a business that you grow to the point of being able to impact others as they render their services?
Who understands the question?
Let me try it.
Okay.
What he's saying, take for instance, personally, I want to start up a business, a veterinary business. So probably he's asking, should he focus on building that veterinary business to grow, or should he rather
why we want to do that?
Doing a side
why
business?
we want to do that? When we started our business, nothing matters other than the business. Like nothing. And the reason why I said we inverted ours is that 70% of all my income was going into the business. And we're living on 30% or less. But this is tough. I wanted it to happen faster. Like, I closed down almost everything for the business. Now the business is grown and has its own resources. So you don't want to do a side business with the main business. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. All right, so that's it. I want to thank every one of us. We will be concluding this series next week, and we'll be talking about the legacy for money. And I want to inspire us that your money can be useful in another person's life, and that's what we're going to. Then we'll start another series for September. We already have a few debates here and there on the group, and we'll figure out what to do by September. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comment.
Can we give Doctor another round of applause, please? Thank you very much, sir, for giving us that powerful impartation. We really appreciate you. Thank you, sir. It's beside you. Okay, I hope that we all learned something today. For me, I've learned that discipline keeps you growing. And I hope that we all took that point. It's a very powerful point. To be disciplined, you will always continue to grow. Thank you so much for finding out time. We have a lot of people today that their faces are very new. So we hope to know you. Let's get to meet you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Olabi Lekon. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was inducted this year. Yeah. And I run a mobile veterinary service at the moment. Yeah. Mobile veterinary service at the moment. About to, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Natty Pet Care.
My name is Olani Afis Kolajo, Dr. Olani Afis Kolajo. I'm also a vet. Yeah. So I'm a farmer actually. No, I run a ruminant farm actually. Yeah. No. And also I do ambulatory service as a side also. Thank you.
Let's meet you again.
I know. It's okay.
Okay. My name is Blessing Oyele. What else? I'm a vet too. So I reside in Abuja now. I'm rounding up my NYSC. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still in Abuja.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Bolondre Babse. Yeah, I'm a vet. I own a farm in Ibadan, and I'm about starting up my veterinary services also. Yes,
Simon, he said he's not up.
My name is Simon Boniface. I'm a cinematographer, photographer, videographer. I am basically in the media space. So anything that has to do with the media, the camera, editing, shooting, it's me. Yeah, thank you.
We want to, on behalf of Kayode's Consult, welcome all of you today. We're really grateful for your presence. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We don't take it for granted. And I join you and invite you to join us next week from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Please come with someone, and I hope that next week will be power packed. Thank you and see you next time.